What is something you randomly want to share? I spoke to my mom yesterday and she shared with me that she wasn't feeling well and will be going to the ER today to check things out. She seemed strange and even said her goodbye to me as if she was worried she was going to die. It freaked me out. I tried contacting her today but had no luck. I'm worried. She lives in a different country. Hi, I'm just a lurker. But I went back to college at 34. It can be done with support from your family or friends and a good financial plan ahead of time. Personally, my first summer co-op, they liked me so much they offered me a full-time position immediately, so I didn't even need to finish a degree. I worked 10 years in plumbing and was pursuing a civil engineering degree, so I had ample background experience for MEP engineering. If you already have experience in the field you are going to study, the same may happen to you. Follow your heart, lean into your strengths, and believe that the extra 15 years of life experience you have over a fresh college grad gives you an edge. Best of luck to you. I never thought much about the death industry until our daughter died. The people we worked with were just amazing and it really made me appreciate what they do. You will see people when all their artifice is stripped away, when they are their most raw and vulnerable, and they will remember you and how much respect you showed their loved one. Everyone from the police to the coroner to the funeral home spoke to us about our daughter and how they treated her as their own. And that just gave us so much comfort knowing that people cared for her before we could get to her. Astronomer here. Clap your hands once, and then a second later, clap them again. The distance between your hands when you clap them is about 530 miles, 850 kilometers, due to the Earth's motion in space, around the Sun, Sun around the galaxy, galaxy moving through space towards the Virgo cluster, etc. I did the calculation once, to figure out what the different components are. And the interesting thing is pretty much all of it is from the motion of the Milky Way, and a tinier part from us going around the center of the galaxy. Speeds like the Earth spinning are just too small to matter. Space is awesome. Edit. A lot of folks are asking relative to what the galaxy is moving. The answer is relative to the cosmic microwave background, CMB. If you want to know how, this article has the gory details. I started to learn coding this year and I didn't expect to love it to the point I am skipping lunch because I forget because I am caught in the flow and don't want to cut it and can't wait to get a job at this so I can make money which I will invest into learning more which will give me more job and so on until my brain turns to mush. I haven't felt this way since I was in high school 10 years ago and I used to grab my textbooks of my favorite subjects and read them before class. I just got an email for a job I applied to. I got past the HR screening so I'm expecting an interview with a manager I used to work for, so I'm incredibly confident I'll get the job. It's so small, but that email lifted me out of a deep depression. I've been trying to get out of my current job for over 3.5 years. It had absolutely ruined my mental health to the point of contemplating suicide. But now there's hope, and a new job is one that will not only be tolerable, but fun. I can't wait for the interview. Edit. Well, shucks. Thanks for all the support everyone. What a lovely thing to see so many people, strangers even, just pouring out encouragement. Much love to you all. This made my day. My partner broke up with after 5 years and am struggling with episodes of crippling depression and learned a few things coping with that and new relationship advice. Prioritize yourself always. There's a difference between being a selfish a-hole and a self-respecting person. Pick up a hobby you enjoy. Feel your emotions instead of suppressing them. Still struggling with this tough time? Take it one step at a time. It's been a rough few weeks and honestly I don't think I'll recover anytime soon. I know heartbreaks suck but it isn't forever. Of course I fantasize how we only take a short break and meet again to fall in love and live happily ever after. The problem is how easy it is to romanticize failed relationships into these grand fantasies. If we rekindle our old flame we will be better together and if not we will just be better. It's time for us to live our lives separate and I don't know who needs to read this but it's time to live your life to the fullest as well. Stay safe friends, and if you need a complete stranger to talk to just message me. 4 major concussions growing up, then coma during undergrad, don't want to go in detail, then grand mal seizure, heart attack, and possible stroke post-PhD. I guess that's my random share, cause I do not want to tell work folks outside the concussions. Last 3 were last winter and still have cognitive and physical recovery ongoing. Still working full-time at PhD level. Do what makes you happy. The brain is an amazing thing. Never too late to go back and get the degree if it's what you want. Just do it. You will regret as you don't. As a girl, a mate can give you advice on how to not say it or what to say. First, don't ask her out when there are friends' family around. It's weird and puts like a weight on it. Then make sure you say what you expect out of this. No need to scare her and saying you want to marry her, but you could say that you have feelings for her, and if you date go good you want to be in couple with her. If you want that. I wanna brag about my mom. She is an amazing mother but doesn't think she is. She is incredible. When I came out to her as trans, she immediately told me she would take me shopping. She hates shopping for new clothes to fit the real me. She asked me if I found my new name and gave me suggestions. She has held my hand through everything I have needed to do. I'm also mentally disabled and she has done nothing but the most to help me and protect me. Evening pink so far as to study psychology at university just to understand as much about what was happening with me as possible. These are just the tip of the iceberg. I love my mom and wish she understood how amazing she actually is. I used to play guitar, but many years ago when I was in financial trouble, I had to sell them. Last week when I was looking around for some cables for an old MP3 player I wanted to get working again, I stumbled upon this ad I clipped and laminated for my old acoustic electric guitar. I loved that guitar a lot and really regretted selling it. I couldn't get it back at this point since I sold it so long ago and they stopped making that exact model. So I decided to Google it and see if I could find a used one. It just so happened that a little mom-and-pop shop about 30 minutes away from me had one. I couldn't believe it. What were the odds of that happening? So I bought it. I went to the store to go pick it up, and aside from a couple of dings, it's just how I remember it. Today was the first day in years that I've played guitar and it feels amazing. Well, aside from my fingers because I don't have calluses anymore, but I plan to start playing again. I saw my mom for the last time today. She was involved in a fatal car accident last week. It has been difficult for me and my dad, but being able to say the things I wanted to kind of helped, I guess. So I guess my random thing to say is, don't let stupid shit like politics get in the way of your relationships. Hug your mother if she's still around. Squash the beef with your friends and family, or you may not get an opportunity to do it while they are still here. I was experiencing some severe depression before lockdown. I wasn't eating properly, I wasn't sleeping properly, I wasn't taking care of myself in terms of personal hygiene. You know, the classics. Due to the combined psychological effects of my nephew being premature, he's fine now, my dog being chronically ill, she's fine now, and general Brexit stress, not fine now, but you can't have everything. But the 18 months of working from home has revitalized me no end. This has been the happiest 18 months of my entire working life. I genuinely feel like me again. I've lost my lust for life ever since my failed suicide attempt, and now I'm just going through the motions to keep my friends and family happy. Sucks to fake every emotion. Edit. Thank you so much for all your responses, personal stories, helpful information, and compassion. You all are truly amazing, and even though the day-to-day can seem bleak, I'm still trying to do well by myself and others. Thank you all again, really. One of the best feelings in the world is engaging in a hilarious, fun conversation with your child, and realizing just how freaking awesome and incredible they've become. I love my child so freaking much, and all of the hardships, the tears, the laughs, the impending deadlines and the frantic anxieties of making it to tomorrow, all of it, is infinitely worth it. I love you, baby bear. Up to 7,000 Afghan refugees are expected at Holloman AFP outside of Alamogordo, NM, population 31,000. The local newspaper put out a call for donations of shampoo, hairbrushes, nail clippers, toothbrushes, toothpaste, diapers, liquid baby formula, very expensive, and other items. 3 days later, they're running out of storage space for all of the donations, although that's a problem that can be solved, I'm sure. Way to go, Alamogordo. But a really good D&D session last night where I proper spooked my players and found out the most here for the pain player really doesn't like dolls. He's laughed at every other horror situation since, and we've played Call of Cthulhu together. Too bad an animated doll is the party's fated ally. I love Cursive Street and I have a great group for it. My wife and I have 2 cats, one of whom is quite sick and needs medicine a few times a day, and we both live to travel. With vaccines and such, we've been wanting to do so again, but we no longer have a cat sitter, so we've been taking them with us. Finding cat-friendly hotels, kitting out the car, catifying the hotel room. We did a trip for a weekend and it worked amazingly, so we're going to go on a week trip in a few days. I'm so excited and so hopeful it works out. After enduring 30 years of cyclic depression, I started Wellbutrin 2 months ago. Wow, I don't have the right words to describe how much better I feel. No more suicidal ideation, no more spending my weekends on the couch, and I finally have the energy and motivation to clean up my apartment. If you're reading this, and you are dealing with depression, anxiety, etc., please see a doctor and get some help. You deserve to be happy. Earlier today I heard what sounded like the microwave door slamming, so I went out to see who it was and I saw my dog eating a bowl of microwave noodles on the floor. I was super tired since I stayed up all night, so I was really confused. After a bit of investigation I found that the sound was just my dog knocking down the garbage can and taking the noodles from there, but for a second it seemed like my dog microwaved some damn noodles. I'm currently in a place between absolute misery and absolute happiness. I have a perfect spouse with amazing pets whom I care for with all my heart. But I have a job I hate, not using my degree, not making enough to move out of my oppressive state where I legit fear for my life every day. I want to make more, have holidays and weekends off, maybe even use my degree again. I want these so I may spend more time with my family and my spouse who has these things without a degree. But every option I find is a compromise. And I only ever see the compromise. I'm in my 30s and have made compromises my whole life and have had to start over on a career path twice now due to diagnosis of disability. My life seems absolutely governed by bad choices that in retrospect still seem like the better choice. Take an opportunity, and it turns out shit. Pass up an opportunity because it is full of red flags, only to find out later it was a missed golden opportunity. I'm tired, and I lack the motivation to start small again. I feel used up and broken. My spouse tried to keep me positive and motivated, but I don't believe she realizes how long this disappointment of myself has been brewing. I don't expect her to be a magical cure, and I don't want to drag her down or feel bad about her own accomplishments. I tried suicide about a decade ago and failed. I'd never try that again. But it puts me in a spot where I know there is so much to live for, but I feel like I'm handcuffed to a single, infested tree in a forest of opportunity. It annoys me when people talk about A Christmas Carol and say to leave Scrooge alone because he doesn't want to celebrate Christmas, because that's not the point. Christmas is, as the 2 charity collectors mentioned to Scrooge at the beginning, the time of year when want is most keenly felt. People tend to be more generous because season of giving and Jesus and stuff. Scrooge is an asshole for not wanting to participate in even the illusion of being a good capitalist by donating. Are there no prisons, and the workhouses, they are still in operation? If they would rather die, they had better do it, and decrease the surplus population, but it's not like the other Victorian businessmen are better people, really, for only caring about their fellow man once a year. We see this with Marley, who realized too late that mankind was my business, and wants to spare his only friend of the fate he has succumbed to, walking the world as a ghost, seeing suffering, and being powerless to help. The point is not that Scrooge learns to appreciate Christmas. The point is that he learns to keep the spirit of Christmas in his heart all year round, and the spirit of Christmas is caring for your fellow man. I feel so amazing that I quit my job that would get me so down I'd contemplate suicide on my worst days. I am excited by the fact I am home with my children and I get to make however much money I want doing what I want. I love making arts and crafts, sewing, and anything else creative I can get my hands on to sell. Plus I am getting my real estate license because why not? My husband is a great husband. I have never felt so happy in my life before. Visiting Chicago twice this year, July and August, has sparked something in me. It has brought me so much joy. I finally feel like I belong somewhere in this world. I never felt that way before. So, I am going to save up to make the move out there. I was pretty suicidal from July 2019 to January of this year. If you told me during those times that I would find myself in an unexpected place, I wouldn't believe it. Solo traveling has given me so much understanding of myself that I never gained anywhere, not in psychiatric hospitals, not in college, not in past relationships or friendships. Nothing has changed my life the way this has. I finally am finding myself, and I finally know there is a next chapter of my life and that I can make anything happen. Chicago renewed my spirit. If you want to watch a good anime without the cliches and tropes that people hate about anime, then I got one for people who don't mind subtitles. It's called Legend of the Galactic Heroes from 1988-1997 and it's a timeless classic. You can watch it legally on High Dive. Realistic character designs, in-depth discussions about politics, history, brutal space battles fought with pure strategy and tactics accompanied by a soundtrack of classical music. It also has a large ensemble cast of mostly adult characters that are likable or interesting to watch. 110 episodes long but worth it even if you aren't an anime fan. It already has a niche following of both anime and non-anime fans alike praising it as one of the greatest pieces of fiction ever made. It deserves more recognition than being unpopular for 30 years. One of the few good anime that can be enjoyed by non-anime fans who don't mind subtitles. My Twitter, as you may have guessed, apart from some rare personal stuff, it contains mostly screenshots from games, because Twitter and USB stick are the only ways to transfer screenshots from the PS5 to PC, though most of the screenshots eventually end up on Reddit. There are those few that I upload only to decide later on that they're too low effort for Reddit. I'm stressed AF. That's okay. My fiancé overdosed in January 2020, leaving me and our 10-month-old daughter. He was my best friend. But since then, I got my driver's license, at 27, but better late than never. I'm 6 weeks out from graduating medical assistant school, and I came out of the closet. I now have a beautiful girlfriend. I might dare to say I love her. I went through hell, but I'm kicking ass and so proud of myself. I turned $35,000 into $5.3 million over the last 1.5 years by YOLOing into various stocks, full story pinned in profile. Part of me feels like this money isn't real, like I didn't do anything to deserve it. I didn't contribute to society in any meaningful way nor did it take any hard work. It was all just a ton of lucky trades. My plan is to hit $10 million and retire on 4% SWR and enjoy life pursuing my passions and hobbies and taking care of myself and spending time with family and loved ones. The end feels so near it's unbelievable. At the same time I also haven't told anyone IRL about these massive gains cause once the cat is out of the bag, lots of bad things can happen that it's not worth it. So it's just me, with my little Jack, happily retired young and living life into the sunset. I guess that's life. Hanging out in the hospital tonight, waiting for surgery tomorrow morning. If everything goes according to plan, I'll be cancer-free within 24 hours. I'm looking forward to getting it over with and finally having this weight lifted from my shoulders, but I'm also pretty nervous, like, tomorrow, some dude is going to cut me open, cut a bunch of stuff out of my guts, and then stitch me back up. There's no way that's going to feel great when I wake up. Trying to keep my thoughts positive though. No use in psyching myself out.